Shalom, we're on TarbutCast. I'm Sinai Guest, with me Sarah Zarat. Hi Sarah.
Hi Sinai.
How are you?
Thanks.
Very cheerful, great. And with us, Irene Santiago, an American actress.
Hello.
Hello, Irene.
You might know her from movies like The Penthouse, High School Musical, Dear Younger Me. It's so great to have you.
So you've seen all those? Okay.
Oh, great. So Irene, let's make tell us something about yourself, like something like fun fact about yourself.
Oh my goodness. I am full of fun facts.
Okay, that's a great start. That's a great start. Okay.
So first of all, here's something really amazing. The reason why I got into acting is because I am number 9 of 9 kids. All right.
Wow.
Okay. Small family.
I'm the last. But see, actually, it was number 8 because I have a half sister.
So you don't have names in this family. You have just numbers, basically, right?
Just
small, just to make it easy, right?
I mean, math is hard for me. But
so 9 Santiago, that's your full name.
Yes. So that's my password. Dang it.
Yeah. Okay.
So thanks for telling everyone. So anyway, everybody in my family, everyone they're either really beautiful or they could sing.
Oh, we're talking about number 4, right? You're talking about
funny.
Number 4.
Oh yeah, number 1 is really smart and could sing like crazy. And number 2 she was beautiful, and and then number 3. Anyway, I'm not gonna go.
Yeah. It's good. We have
but you get it. Time, my brothers were all funny, and I just felt like, I got to do something, because no one's paying attention to I was just the baby of the family.
Got it.
Poor baby, So I ended up, and some of them were professional dancers, choreographers. So I ended up, everybody was my teacher, right? Everybody, all my brothers and sisters, everybody wants to babysit me, whatever it was. Not because I was so sweet, just because I was a problem. No, but they all taught me. All my brothers and sisters taught me how to sing, how to dance, how to choreograph, how to be funny. I mean, because I had to. It was the survival of the fittest, and I wasn't getting any attention, man.
So basically, you grow up in a dancing company, basically, right?
And a comedic
in a theater.
Family. So
Wow.
And then my mom and dad, my dad was working all the time because obviously with 8 kids and food on the table, I mean, my gosh, and my mom, without losing her mind, before me, there were the twins. So, and then there was, the other kids. So we grew up in shifts. So
wow.
Here's the early shift, 1, 2, and 3, and then 4, 5, and 6 were the afternoon shift, and then here I am 7 and 8. Well, let's see, that'd be 6, 7, and 8 because there were twins. And then me.
So just to locate us, you were born and raised in Utah, right?
In Utah.
Okay.
And then I have a half sister in Puerto Rico.
So tell us about your experience in Utah.
My experience in Utah, I lived and grew up in Utah, and it's beautiful. There's gorgeous mountains. It's really cold. I live now by the beach, which is a huge difference across country. So, but they have the greatest snow on earth, is what they used to say, because the mountain and the skiing is so beautiful and pure. And I met my husband there.
Oh.
And he worked at a ski resort called Deer Valley, but I met him we worked together at a hotel, and I was always trying to get him I was setting him up with my girlfriends. So because I wasn't interested in dating him, but he was interested in dating me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, let's just be friends, okay? Because I had broken up with this guy, I was engaged to this guy once before, and I am so glad that didn't work out because my husband's a gem. So he's because we actually, after all these years, we've ended up producing a movie together, and we've done all these things. A pretty successful movie. If you haven't seen it, it's called Adrenaline, and it's gone all over the world. It stars John Schneider, Gregory Allen Green, Charlene Amoya, myself.
Mhm.
And
What are the challenges? By the way, what are the challenges to work with your spouse?
it's a lot. What are the challenges?
Yeah, I mean, tell us about like it doesn't
You
sound
got
like
a ton.
very.
Yeah. How much time do we have?
Just summarize it for us.
The challenges for my husband, let me put it this way. We tried to paint a room together and it was not good.
Mhm.
So, but this is the thing. I've always told him, I've always been in show business since I was a little kid.
Mhm.
And so, as I mentioned before,
You have an audience. Your family can be a great audience, I have to say, right? You
oh,
can feel
they
a
could be,
stadium
but
with it.
they don't all want to be in the audience. They want to be on the stage. That's the
Got it,
bad
okay.
part,
Mhm,
you know.
mhm,
It's
mhm,
like,
okay, mhm.
oh, look at what I can do, you know. So,
Yeah.
but when we put this movie together, I've always told him, I said, you know, honey, because he's always been the brains, he's the type of guy who likes to do, he's a planner, he makes things
Producer.
happen. He's very organized.
Mhm.
And I am an encourager, an entertainer, you know, and you know how entertainers are. We're not always, you know, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm
What
going
do
to
you
do
mean? What
that.
do you
I'm going to
mean?
do this.
Tell
Yeah.
us, what do you mean?
Right. And so when I was doing, you know, this, and when I met him, I said, you know, you're the type of person that should be in show business on the other side, because because he's like, I don't want nothing to do with actors, but you. So, but he realized too, I said, there's a business to show business. It's not all show. And I said, you know, actors are great and directors, but they want to get that shot. They want to get that scene. They want to get that relationship between the actors. They want that, you know, the writers want the writing to be done to, you know, speak the words, you
Focusing
know,
on the art, basically.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
But you need people on the backside who know how to organize it, who know how to get the money together, who know how to get the crews together, who know how to get all the legal documents together. Those things are boring to people like me, you know, to artists. We're not that way. We're not wired that way. And you don't have to be. That's why there are people like my husband, like a lot of producers and directors who look towards people that know how to do that kind of crafting.
So basically, separate the responsibility. That's how you manage to work together.
Yes, we have. Even in child rearing, we have separated. No,
Okay.
no, I do it my way and he does it my way. So,
Okay.
but no, it's true. You know, I have always said this to him. I said, I am the show and you are the business.
Okay, that's a nice
There we go.
summarizing of.
Yeah.
What are your source of inspiration? What inspires you?
You know what? There's so many things in this world that inspire me, and it depends on what it is that I'm doing. Many times I've always been inspired by my parents.
Oh.
Because my parents, their stories are unlike mine. They've lived a different life than I did. You know, they came from Puerto Rico. They grew up a different way. My mother had to leave school when she was in 5th grade, 10 years old, here in the States, in Puerto Rico, to be a domestic, to help people to, you know, clean their houses, take care of the kids. She was 10. 10 years old, I was playing with dolls. You know, it's a totally different life. So it depends on the role. I get that inspiration, but not just from, and my father too, he was always been a hard worker. They both have passed away, but I always wanted to make them proud, you know, always wanted them to see me, because there's so many kids. And I joke about it, but it's really hard being not known for what you can do. Instead, you're always being seen as the helpless youngest baby of the family. That doesn't define me. That's not who I am or what I can do. You're putting labels on me that don't help me.
Yeah.
So
because you're coincidentally born the last, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in a way, because that sounds negative, but in a way that pushed me to go further. And I always wanted to do something on television that my mom could see me.
Mm.
And when she did see, she goes, I was watching TV and I saw you on a commercial. I think it was you. And she goes,
Oh.
and I wondered, Irene, what are you doing looking at me? And I thought,
Wow.
"Oh, yes, that's what
Mhm.
I'm doing." So I started doing that more and more. And my father, unfortunately, never has seen any of my work. Well, I assume he has. I
Mhm.
I believe he's gone to heaven. So I think they have a great show over there. So I believe that I know, my mother has seen, and they're proud of me. And I am where I need to be. And I
Mm.
feel so good about that. Other people that have inspired me, Katharine Hepburn, Audrey Hepburn.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
All the Hepburns.
Yes, all the Hepburns. But also, when I lived in Utah, I had the opportunity to be chosen to work with Robert Redford at the Sundance Film Institute. It's like a boot camp. And that's where actors have to audition to go,
Mhm.
and you have to be invited to go. When you put in your script for screenwriters and directors and producers, your script is picked and
Mhm.
invited, and it's not like the film festival. It's aside from that. It's a huge workshop that's for the whole summer, for like a month. And I got, Robert Redford's been one of my mentors, and I've been there 5 years in a row. So I got to work with Sally Field. I got, how many people can say I got directed by Sally Field? She told me when she needed. Philip Seymour Hoffman was one of my other mentors, and bless his heart, he passed away. But people like this, director John Turteltaub, you don't get that opportunity every day, and that is truly being blessed.
Mm.
And there's reasons why I got to do those things, because I believe it's not just, there's no accidents.
Mm.
There is a reason for everything. And I'm grateful.
But you need a portion of luck, right? You need some luck in this business, I'm guessing, right? Because it's hard working, but
it's a lot. It's a lot of everything. It's a little luck. It's a lot of talent. It's a lot of patience.
hard work.
It's a lot of what you know and who you know.
Mm.
A lot of networking. I literally just got booked on a film where I met the director. We had been communicating through email. He saw me in something and somebody suggested me for a role, but he didn't have any money for the movie. And this was like, I don't know, maybe 4 years ago.
Mm.
Then all of a sudden I get this call. We'd like you to be Eric Roberts's wife. I'm just going to offer you the role. I already know you can do this. And it's a this film, it was an indie film. And I thought, yeah, okay, great. And I'm telling you, when the iron strikes, it's hot and you go with it. Mm. There's a lot of times people say, oh, well, you have to know somebody in this business. You have to have famous parents. I don't have famous parents. Mm. I didn't have rich parents. There's people that's a myth. Mm. Because it's you. It's what you offer. And you have a little bit of magic. I teach acting, and for once in a while, I'll be, once a year, I'll go out to these schools that have underprivileged children in rural areas. And a lot of these kids are being raised by their grandparents, because many of their parents they're single parent homes, they're not equipped, they're in prison, those kinds of things. So these kids are being left behind, right? So I teach them with the Rose Hill Friends of the Arts. I'm invited to come work with these kids, and I use acting as a medium so they learn how to speak. I'm not there to teach them how to act. I'm there to teach them how to speak and how to present themselves, because they are the whole package. Even if they're just going to go interview for maybe a babysitting role, a babysitter for their neighbors, you want to hear your babysitter speak and trust them. they're trusting you with their children. You have to be able to speak well with these adults. Not only that, these kids are also sports geared. It maybe they're trying to go get a scholarship. There's going to be an interview. Doesn't matter how well they play.
So basically, acting is an empower is a way to empower.
It is. And I also in this program, what I do is I work with them, not just with speaking, to empower them, to make them feel strong in front of, because it's scary being in front of an audience to speak, right? So some of and you always get the kids that are heckling the ones that are in the front, ha ha, laughing at them. It's like, okay, it's your turn, and then the tables are turned. It's like, and also treat people nice, because you never know when you're going to be in that position. And some kids, it's just 2 minutes later and they're in that position, but they need to be able to show they've got something inside of them. And so it does no good to criticize somebody else when you can't deliver the goods yourself.
So teaching in a way helps you to improve your acting, is like a source, is part of your process. Basically, that's what you're saying in a way.
Yeah, when you teach, you become a better whatever it is. If you're a painter and you teach painting, you become a better painter. If you're, if you become a parent, you have to learn and teach these little kids. You don't have a manual. Everybody writes a book, but it's not the same situation that you've got at home. So you learn to be a better person, I think.
By teaching. So
by teaching, by teaching. So acting, when I teach acting, when I also teach these children to write a commercial, and they do it in groups. They're about like 7th graders, which is about 12, 13, 14 age group here. They work in groups of 4. They learn to write together. They learn to collaborate. They learn, and any of the topics can be anything that they're learning in school, or maybe, something that they feel strongly about. Maybe they've heard something on the news or something. Maybe it's something at home, and it can be just, a fun thing like candles or something like that. It could be, whatever, notebooks. But
I'm very fascinated about the picture that you have. What is it? Your picture that you have behind you?
Oh, behind me?
Yes, I'm just sorry. Just yes. What it is? Does it say anything or?
One says love.
Oh.
Okay.
In Japanese or?
I think it's Japanese. This says happiness. This says love, and then I have 2 more, and one says peace.
Okay.
One says peace, and then I don't know if you can get that, but there's one up here that says, if you can imagine it, you can dream it, and you can become it.
Ooh.
So cool. Those are my mottos. And I love that, because you have to have love, peace, happiness. You have to be centered. If you're not centered, then you're all, you have no purpose. You have no drive. You have no ambition. What do you want? That's one of the biggest things in acting. What is it? What do you want? And that's a life question. I don't know what I want, but it doesn't mean you can't explore.
But I want to be like for a minute, like the devil as the advocate. Is it like acting in a way is like a little bit like manipulation, because you're not really the doctor that you played, right? You're not really the firefighter that you're doing. So isn't it like doing a little bit like trick on yourself in a way?
Yeah, of course.
Or in the audience?
It is. Oh, yes.
Okay.
I am not going to lie about that. That's imagination.
Yes.
When you were a little kid, didn't you ever pretend you were an astronaut, or you were like a bad guy, or maybe you were, you were the good guy, you saved everybody? That is what William Shakespeare said. The world is but a stage, and we are all players, are we not? We played when we were little kids. Why can't we play now? That's what makes the difference between a child and an adult. When we're an adult, we're told you have to think this way, you have to act this way, don't do this, do that. We forget how important that playing is in our lives. but you have to know the difference. An actor can turn it on and turn it off. Sometimes when you get in a really, really deep role, it takes you longer to cut it off.
So how do you like, what's the process for you to become like the role, right? To before
Right.
you get into role?
Well, it really depends on what it is. The process, what I first do, you know, obviously I want to know my backstory. A backstory is something about that particular character. Maybe it's already written, but then there's things about that character that's not written from the writers. You have to know, how was this person brought up? How were, you know, what were their parents? I always think about what is the background of this person? Why am I, you know, why have I chosen to be a doctor? Is this doctor, you know, like for instance, you mentioned Dear Younger Me, Sarah. In that movie, I was the dying wife of a researcher. And so even though I knew my co-star, we are friends, but I have to look beyond that. I have to look at what is Karen's relationship with her husband, and how did they meet? What is this all? And even though it's already written, and a lot of times if a good writer writes it and you've got it, great, that's fantastic. You have that information, but you also have to know, you don't have to tell anybody what it is. You just have to know, you know, was I from a broken home, that kind of thing. And when you do all that back work and you know who you know who your character is, you feel really solid and you feel comfortable about who you are. And then you know, when you start memorizing or different things like that, there's a lot of different memory techniques people use. Sometimes it's writing, it's a lot of repetition, writing it down. I write things down, because when your mind and your hand correlate, there's something in there that works together. Also, it's a lot of times wardrobe takes care of wardrobe, you know, and you have to trust them with, you know, but if they'll sometimes ask me questions, you know, well, what do you think this character would wear, or that kind of thing. I will have an idea of what this character, what I think she would look like. This is what she would wear. This is her style. She's really into nutrition. She's really, you know, something like that. She is really passionate about helping, you know, her community, or maybe she's an aggressive woman, you know, or maybe she's a politician. You know, what
like
is
a bad word?
Yeah, bad word.
Oh,
but I know.
Sorry, yeah.
I know.
Don't use the P word. Don't use the P word.
Yeah, the P word. But anyway, that's what my preparation is. And then after I memorize things, I like to go to sleep or just rest on it, because your mind needs to take a break. Just literally put it down, walk away, you know, do something else.
How does it affect your life roles, for example? Like, I don't know, you had like something, I don't know, you portray some role, and does it affect your life, or in what way does it affect your daily life? Or
a particular role, there was a role. Yes, there was a role that in a movie I did called Providence. Providence was a role where I was aged 40 years. So I was this younger mother, and then they show the progression, and I'm like 80 years old. And what happened to this woman at the time, she suffers a stroke in her older age, and her daughter that she's been estranged with has to come and take care of her. They don't get along. So, you know, because before you show the mother's just so, she's a businesswoman. She likes her daughter certain ways. They have money. You have to be this way. You have to act this way. You have to stand tall. But then when the character suffers a stroke, I had to learn how to do those things. I had to do a lot of my homework. That's another thing. You've got to do homework as an actor. You need to do your research. If you don't do your research, you're doing the role a disservice, and you're doing
Like,
the
you mean
director and everyone else a disservice.
you
'cause
learn
didn't-
how to be a disabled? That's what you mean in that sense?
Yeah, I did. I had to learn how to shake and which hand I was shaking. Maybe it's your
And it
mouth.
affect your daily life after the work?
Well, it did during the time, because I would practice like this at dinner time, because there was a scene where I had to eat, and I'm eating like this, and I'm practicing this at the dinner table.
Wow.
My kids are like, "Mom, gosh," you know,
Stop acting,
like,
Mom,
"Yeah,
stop
do it
acting."
now. This is, you know, And
Mom,
I'm like,
behave.
I'm sorry. I'm just
Yeah.
like, you know,
Totally, mom behave. Yeah, really.
like, yeah. And some days I'll go around talking in a dialect if there's an accent or something like that. And it's like, oh my gosh. And they'll laugh. They'll, but my husband gets annoyed.
What's your favorite accent? But do you have a favorite accent?
They try to be patient with me, and,
Yeah.
and I love them.
Do you have like a
but
favorite accent that you like to do?
Well, like one time you asked me about how I get inspired. My mother and my father, because when they come from Puerto Rico to do the United States, they had
so
a
you
very
do the
strong
accent.
accent.
Cool.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I need to be able to, and I hear this all the time. So my mother, she always says she didn't speak English that well, but I know she could, because she always tell me, yeah, I don't speak English too good. And I thought, no, that's not true, because you say that in such a perfect English accent. So I know exactly what she's saying.
Okay. Cool.
So,
No, I wonder if you have something like really far, like a different accent that you have. I don't know, like an Israeli accent.
Absolutely, because whenever somebody
American.
is speaking to me
British,
in a
British,
certain way,
great.
you really have to be very careful. Now, the other thing is also, if you go and listen to other people speak, you will hear all their types of dialects and whichever particular area.
Cool.
And if you have maybe a BBC type,
Yeah, it sounds like
yes, and you can maybe report the news on the Queen and everything.
Of course.
Do you
Great.
practice this in real life situations sometimes?
I do. I practice at
Wow.
home all the time. I mean, it's just, you have to, because that's an actor. A doctor practices medicine. A yoga person, a yogi, they practice yoga. So you have to practice, and that's the thing that I have to say. People think, oh, and of course my family, they're the last to, oh, you're an actor. Ugh, big eye roll, and but my sister always said, get a real job. And I thought, I did have a real job. I had like so many real jobs. I was a doctor last week. I was, a nurse this week, but I've also had those 9-to-5 jobs. I've had, I used to be a singing telegram. So I would sing and tell jokes. I used to be a receptionist. I used to be, I had a job where I was at a call center. So, you have the headset on
like,
and
like
call
mine.
in. And I used to have to call people. It was for a company called the Nielsen rating system.
Really? Are you gonna do like a commercial for them right now? Cool.
No, this is no advertising. They don't know. They did not pay me. And but what I would do is I would practice my accents on phone.
Cool. That's great.
Yes. Is this Sarah? Sarah.
The next time I call someone in the call center, I think
Probably
it's
an
not
actor.
real.
It's an actor. Yeah, probably.
So I mean, my gosh, what a perfect opportunity. And I realized that people were really patient. When you had like a Spanish accent, they would take, I'm sorry, could you say that again, ma'am? Could you say that again? But then they really liked it, and they wanted to keep you on the phone. When you spoke a little bit more with a bit of a twinge of an accent, that's all, that kind of thing. And they'd always like that. And they'd listen a little bit more, and they'd say, oh, yes, I love your accent. Where are you from? And then,
I'm from Utah, and you say, I'm from Utah. Where do you think that I am?
yes.
Anyway,
Like,
we don't have a
here
lot of
is
time. So
bad.
if you can tell us,
really?
yeah, unfortunately. So we need to summarize. So what question you were not asked and would like to be asked?
Well, I think one thing I'd like to, point out is that when I was talking about the jobs, since we've been with this whole COVID-19 and the lockdown and everything, what have people been doing? They've been watching television.
Mm-hmm.
They've been watching streaming shows. They've been listening to podcasts. I do voiceovers too. So entertainers are really important to our world.
Essential workers.
We are essential workers. And unfortunately, we're not given the respect. We've never been, Shakespeare can tell you, if he was alive, he'd tell you that that actors have never been given the respect. We were always the lowest of the low. But yet here in a desperate situation, we're like, oh my goodness, we need that relief. So we're here to share our gifts. We're here to share and take you away from the world, to give you a moment to just relax, enjoy, maybe be in a murder mystery, maybe be in a love story, maybe be in an adventure with superheroes. Actors are so important to our world. They really are. And I really feel like that it's when they talk about cutting the arts, they're cutting that. They're cutting a whole world. They're cutting a whole world. And when I started with kids that I would help and teach, that kind of thing, they're stopping that opportunity as well. Because arts are so important in the school. In all seriousness, kids who practice the arts, piano, music, writing, all those things, acting. It's not always just about the acting. There's people who create the scripts, people who create the lighting. These things are important. And that is a whole different criteria for of careers that people aren't really looking at as being serious, but yet we need them.
We need dreamers, we need dreamers.
We need dreamers.
Yeah,
we need dreamers because dreamers create reality.
Great. I think that in that note, it's a great time to really, encore. So thanks a lot, and Sin. And thanks a lot.
Nobody ever says that either. I don't even know where that, when I hear people say that, I'm like, stop. Ew.
Anyway, so Irene, Santiago, thanks a lot for being here with us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for reaching out. It's been a ball. I had a great time.